Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pickering School Building Committee OPM Selection Committee meeting.
It isn't long before breakfast.
To call the meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Mayor Nicholson.
Present.
Lynn Gately.
Present.
Starbird. Joe Smart.
Yep. Present.
Peter Kolakifis.
Present.
And Dr. Tutwiler.
Present.
Great. So first item we have here is
So I didn't hear my name. Sorry.
I didn't hear my name either.
Yeah. So this. So I sent around an email earlier updating folks that there was a meeting. This is the meeting of the Owner's Project Manager Selection Committee rather than the larger Pickering School Building Committee. The email was more of an update, and if you wanted to attend, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
so you know, it's everyone's more than welcome to be here, of course. But it's just the selection committee.
Oh, okay. That's probably why I didn't get the link. I just got the agenda.
Yeah. We wanted to make sure that people were just aware of what was going on, and of course, folks are invited if they'd like to participate. But yeah, that explains it.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you, everyone. All right, so the first item we have is minutes from February 3rd, which Danielle sent out. What's the will of the committee?
Motion to accept.
Any seconds?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Nicholson.
Yes.
Lynn Gately.
Yes.
Joe Smart.
Yes.
Peter Kolakifis.
Yes.
Dr. Tutwiler.
Great. So next time on the agenda is the evaluation process and timeline for the request for services. By the way, Mike Donovan is out today, and so he couldn't be here, but obviously has been working closely with our team on this, as have a lot of the folks on this call. But to present the evaluation process and timeline, we have Danielle from my team to give the overview.
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday, Wednesday, April 20th was the deadline for proposals to the request for services that we put out for our project manager. We received 6 proposals from different firms, and each of the members of the OPM selection committee should have received hard copies of the proposals, as well as the electronic versions I sent over earlier today. And so the way we are going to evaluate these proposals is using an evaluation scoring sheet. And you should have 6 of those tucked into each of the proposals you got. So I thought it'd be helpful if we could just at a high level walk through the evaluation sheet and how we're really going to be looking with an evaluative lens towards these proposals. On the evaluation sheet, the first question is whether the proposals meet the minimum requirements. And if the proposals do not, then you don't have to fill out the evaluation sheet. Although I've done an initial review of all of the proposals, and they seem like they all meet those minimum requirements. And then there are 12 different evaluation criteria that we're going to be used to score the proposals. And just chronologically and super briefly, The first is the past performance on projects, and then there's one that's whether you see a thorough knowledge of the Mass State Building Code, American Disabilities Act, etc. The next is their thorough knowledge of the mass construction procurement laws. And then there's the risk method of construction, project management approach, key personnel, capacity and skills. There's a current and projected workload, green and energy efficient building experience, cost analysis and estimating, knowledge of the purposes and practices of building commissioning, consultant services, and financial stability. And each of those, or each criterion has a set number of potential points, a maximum. And you are all to score up to the maximum point as you see fit. So the first one, the past performance of projects, is a 0 to 15 scale. So you are going to score it on that realm. And then after all of the evaluation scoring sheets are filled out, we're really hoping that each member of the OPM selection committee can complete the 6 evaluation scoring sheets prior to somewhere around April 27th. So we can reconvene and think about the interviewing respondents. Because past the 27th is when it will be the time when we shortlist the respondents to our top 3 that we plan on interviewing. And we'll also discuss how we plan on conducting the interviews, when and what questions will be asked on the meeting on the 27th, especially given the fact that we have to have a standardized set of questions for each of the shortlisted respondents. So we want to make sure we have a really good list of questions that we can ask every single one of those respondents. And as you review the proposals, I'd suggest writing down any questions that you might want to ask those top 3 during interviews. So, for example, I know someone at the last Pickering School Building Committee asked about inclusive procurement practices and ensuring that we're tracking whether the project's using contractors of color. And I might want to keep that in the back of my head as we reconvene on the 27th and develop interview questions for those top 3. That's just an example, but I could see other questions, whether the firm has experience in comparable communities to Lynn and comparable urban school districts, just to name a few. And that's a pretty high level overview of the evaluation scoring sheets and how we're really going to get from these 6 proposals into choosing a project manager for the Pickering project.
Thank you, Danielle. Questions, reactions to the process here, the next steps?
Thank you, Danielle. That was pretty thorough. Appreciate it. I'm assuming once we fill this off, how do we summarize or do we submit back to you the results? Do we hold off to have another meeting? What's the best way after we all take the individual 6 and start scoring them?
Great question. Yeah, so the idea is that we will have each of the members will have each of these sheets filled out for that meeting on the 27th, because on the 27th, when we plan on shortlisting those to a top 3, we're going to go proposal by proposal.
Gotcha.
Just kind of, it will be the average score of each member's scoring.
So it's best for ourselves to hold on to the sheets, maybe on our own, obviously create our own list of how they summarize each one and then be ready to discuss what our numbers came in at. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Other questions?
And
Great.
just-
Go ahead, Daniel.
Yeah, just, I mean, if there are any questions as they arise, you can reach out to me, and we could talk through it or whatever is helpful.
Daniel, one last question. I know the bid meeting or the pre-proposal meeting, site meeting wasn't mandatory. But do you have a list of who did attend or who did request for a tour, so that as we're evaluating these, that, you know, that has some value, who did show up or who did request for a site tour?
Yep.
Do you have that list to distribute?
Absolutely. I know Inspectional Services has that list, and we can send that around.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't mandatory, but it's helpful in the evaluation process. We did put the effort in.
Great point. Great. Well, any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our team, to Danier, and Danier's working closely with Mike Donovan and his team. So we'll get those questions answered. So next is to schedule the next meeting for us to narrow this list down to who we want to interview and sort of align on what we want the interview to look like. We were hoping to do it, I think, next Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock, if that works for folks. I know it's a quick turnaround. You know that we are trying to do this quickly, so we can get things up and running. But how does that look for people?
Fine.
And this one, Daniel, I think we wanted to suggest doing it in person, so that, because we thought maybe it'd be easier to have that, you know, substantive discussion about who we want to bring in, if we did it in person, and we could sort of pass around the sheets and so on and so forth. But
Yeah, I think we thought that it would probably be more effective if we would have this in person in City Hall and could, yeah.
I'll start it off. I would love to be present. Unfortunately, at 3 p.m. next Thursday, I have another commitment. I will not be on that particular Thursday available till after 5 o'clock. But if it's another day, or we have another date in mind, we can make it probably happen. But next Thursday, I have a commitment till about 5.
Don't feel bad, because we have a school committee meeting that night, so we have obligations too. But we can still make it at 3 o'clock and be done.
Now, you're referring to Thursday being the invite for the shortlisted people to come in for an interview? For Thursday?
No. So the idea is that when we meet next as a OPM selection committee, that's when we're going to discuss the proposals, and we're going to find our way to those top 3. And sorry, the date we were actually mentioning was Wednesday, April 27th at 3 p.m.
Oh, Wednesday.
Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah. What about Wednesday? Wednesday, the 27th.
I can make that easily.
That's actually good for me also.
I have a 2-day board of directors meeting. And again, it just so happens they're quarterly, and it meets next Wednesday and Thursday. So I cannot commit to Wednesday and Thursday.
Daniel, can we get people's submissions of the form? Could we get Peter's form and use that as we make the decision?
Yeah, definitely could.
Would that?
I can summarize it in an Excel table and
Perfect.
put, 6 companies and very high level bottom scores to all 3. I can make it simple.
Perfect.
Great.
And then Daniel can give you a call.
Yeah, we can walk through it
just
together.
to
Absolutely.
make sure
No,
he
I
understands what you got going. Yep.
appreciate that, Mayor. Yeah, and you can call me at any time, but I'll have this all wrapped up by Wednesday.
Great. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so just to summarize, we're going to fill out these evaluation forms of the six applicants. Go over those next Wednesday, April 27th at 3 p.m. If anyone can't make it, they'll send their evaluation forms into Danye and potentially connect with them if that's helpful. And Danye will post the agenda and share it, but on the agenda will be to narrow it down to the candidates we're going to interview and then to align on the interview questions and sort of next steps from there.
If I can still get the invite via Zoom, my meeting starts at 4, so I can at least call in at 3 and maybe log off at 3:30 if it goes past 3:30. But I can certainly at least start the meeting at 3.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I think we're planning to do it in 302 here, which has a smart board, so we can set up the Zoom.
That'll be awesome. Thank you. I can call it in. I appreciate that.
Beautiful. Great. Any other questions? Well, thank you all again. I know, again, it's a quick turnaround. It's kind of, may feel like it's going in stops and starts a little bit as we wind our way through this process. Obviously for the last couple of weeks, we were letting the applications roll in, but we're very excited to be moving forward and very grateful for all of you for sharing your time and expertise as we start making these important decisions and drive towards this really exciting project.
Mr. Mayor, is there any idea when there's going to be another meeting of the whole committee?
Dan, do you know?
Yeah, not the exact date, but I would imagine that sometime in May, there would be another convening of the larger school building committee.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Great. Seeing no further business, be open to a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Danye.